Sometimes in families, there are wounds that are so deep that resentments fester and go on for years and years on end. In today's story, The Arrangement, such a situation happens, and the man involved must either deal with or succumb to his own sense of revenge. This is Mike Champagne, and this is Story Break. If you're new to our channel, welcome. I hope that you'll enjoy today's story, that you'll subscribe and follow us either on Apple or Spotify, and I hope that you'll press like. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Happy to have you. And now, here is The Arrangement.
Jonathan, I have to speak with you. The old man looked frankly and directly at the younger man. Jonathan Roper was my law partner. Over the years, we'd built a nice practice in our small town, and we were friends. The old man had appeared at our office in the middle of the week at closing, insisting on speaking to Jonathan. Thinking he was one of Jonathan's personal clients, I brought him to his door. Jonathan looked up from his desk and stared at the old man long and hard, like he was seeing some kind of an apparition. Finally, he spoke to me. "Please stay, Alfred. I think a witness is called for." He turned back to the old man. "We have nothing to talk about." Jonathan was usually quite open and friendly. I'd never heard this tone in his voice. "Whatever you think of me, Jonathan, I'm your father." The revelation stunned me. I didn't know Jonathan still had a father. "You're my father." Jonathan's tone was dripping with contempt. "Are you dying?" "No, I'm not dying." "Then there's nothing to—" "I'm turning it over to you," the old man cut in. "All of it. The company, all my assets, everything." The old man's tone was matter of fact. Jonathan stared at him for a moment before speaking. "No, thank you. My lawyers are drawing up the paperwork now." There was a note of urgency in the old man's voice. Jonathan didn't flinch. "I don't want it. We're talking about enormous resources, more money than—" "I said I don't want it." Jonathan's voice took a sharp edge. The old man paused for a moment. "This is no time for recriminations, Jonathan. I'm losing my mind. There's no one else." "Well, then I'm afraid there's no one. Our relationship is an accident of biology, nothing more. I don't want anything that comes from you." "Jonathan, think about what you're turning down. Black Eagle has assets all over the globe, thousands of employees. I've spent my life making it what it is." My ears nearly exploded at the name. Black Eagle was one of the largest international contractors in the world, a privately owned, internationally vital source of everything from food to heavy equipment worldwide. "So, that's it." Jonathan smiled. "Jake Roper wants a monument to himself. I want what I built to continue, but I also want to try to know you while I can. I made mistakes." Jonathan laughed. "Wow! Oh, you haven't lost it yet, have you? It's good. Quick, subtle, almost believable. Think of the people who work for Black Eagle. Their lives depend on what you do." "Oh, hostages, to your legacy. So, liquidate. Sell everything. Give it to charity. You can put your name on some hospitals or universities. And let greedy people siphon off the bulk of the funds to administer and use my name to cover their grift? No, thank you. Absolutely not. It's a living thing, Black Eagle. It has to continue. Jonathan just continued to stare at him. All right, then. Well, you have two boys, my grandsons. Jonathan stood suddenly. No, you will not touch them. Nothing of you touches them. I saw the old man recognize a weak point. Well, you leave me no choice. I won't let the work of a lifetime be lost because you hate me so much. The boys will be powerful and wealthy young men when they come of age. You'll train them, I'm sure, keep them on the straight and narrow. The two men locked eyes, and I watched, fascinated. Jonathan stood there trying to hold back his anger. I won't allow it. You can't stop me. You know it. They are no part of you. You are. You're just like me. I can see that. The old man seemed to enjoy Jonathan's white-hot anger. You left us. My mother, once you came, she was obsessed with you, and she stopped being my wife. You have to know that. You're a man now. No, I won't do this. The old man drew in his words and paused for a moment. These are old wounds, Jonathan. There's no point. I don't want this ugly void between us. Not now. No. Doesn't serve your purpose, does it? The two men seemed to be at some epic impasse. Finally, Jonathan spoke. If I accept this legacy, do you swear not to contact my family in any way or make your existence known to them? Jonathan, you're being ridiculous. The old man seemed almost hurt. Nothing. No contact, no inheritance, no intermediaries, no sign that you exist or ever existed. The old man looked straight at Jonathan for a moment and realized his defeat. All right. I'll have Mr. Breyer here draw up a contract attesting to that. I'll sign, provided you agree to dinner 3 times a week with me. What? Why? Jonathan sneered. Training purposes. You're a small-town lawyer. I have to be sure you can assume control of such a large organization. I thought I detected a slight smile from the old man. He wasn't done yet. There's nothing between us. Nothing you might say will change that. Jonathan's tone retained its coldness. Perhaps we both have to eat. You can bring Mr. Breyer here with you if you're concerned. That won't be necessary. Agreed. Alfred, would you draw up a contract? I nodded silently, realizing that I had just witnessed the transfer of enormous power and wealth. Jonathan never asked me to come to the dinners, and over my objections, Jonathan gave me a retainer as his attorney to ensure strict confidentiality. No one, not even his wife Linda, was to be told of his dealings with his father. It was subtle at first. A critical comment, the loss of humor, an increase in distraction. Jonathan stayed longer at the office each day, sometimes well into the evening, trying to keep up with our practice. 3 evenings a week he spent with his father. It was clear that learning Black Eagle was becoming consuming. Eventually, I was handling most of our practice, but the more I did, the less satisfied Jonathan seemed to be about everything. There was a vague disapproval of everything I did. I finally asked him, don't you trust me, Jonathan? He replied, I know I can trust you to be a good man. Somehow, it didn't sound like a vote of confidence. He was growing more distant and colder with each passing day. One afternoon, I got a call from Linda. Alfred, please don't tell Jonathan I called you. He'd be furious with me. I want you to tell me the truth. Is Jonathan seeing someone? You mean seeing someone as in a girlfriend? I was incredulous that Linda would even think of such a thing. I have to know, Alfred. I have the boys to consider. If Jonathan's going to leave me, I have to know. I couldn't tell her. I assured her that there was no one. There wasn't any chance of another woman, an affair of any kind. Oh, then it's worse. Her voice seemed to deaden. Linda, what are you talking about? He's different, Alfred. There's no love in him. I've heard of people falling out of love. Oh, Linda, for heaven's sakes, don't go there. Just talk to him. I tried that. Oh, Alfred, I talked to him last night. I tried to. I told him we needed to get away so that he could cool off from work, so we could be close again. He said we're as close as we needed to be. That was it. Somehow I've lost him. I couldn't tell her. I couldn't tell her the reason for Jonathan's change of heart, if you can call it that. As the months and the dinners went on, he grew more and more isolated within himself, and by spring, Linda left him and took the boys with her. Not long after, Jake died, suddenly. Jonathan summoned me to come to the wake as his lawyer, in the event verification was required. When I arrived at the funeral home, only Jonathan was in attendance. The wake was held in the largest viewing room, precisely according to Jake's written directions. Jake lay in the coffin, surrounded by a profusion of flowers. Quiet classical music was playing, and Jonathan was sitting impassively in the front row. I approached quietly. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I have the affidavit for you, attesting that Jake is actually dead. Would you sign it, please? You have a death certificate, I presume? I was confused by Jonathan's disconnected affect. Yes, of course, a precaution. Since there are no attendees. Yes, where is everyone? I looked around the empty hall. He didn't specify. He asked for a one-day wake. I arranged it. Just sign, Alfred, and we can go. Jonathan's iciness was breathtaking. He was an important man. He thought so. The press will be advised at a later date to avoid disruption to the business. The crematorium will pick up the remains. I've notified the board that I have assumed control. Jonathan, I wanted to object, but Jonathan jumped in. However this seems to you, Alfred, I told Jake when we made this arrangement that he would never touch me or my family in any way. But he has touched you, Jonathan. You're not the same man. Linda and the boys are well out of it. They won't be harmed, and I will erase him. Why, Jonathan? Why is that necessary? He was consumed with my mother. I was an accidental pregnancy. He hated me for existing and her for loving me, or so he left us. She was fragile, alone. When I was 10, I found her in the tub, and he exiled me from his life. I had pushed him out of my mind, and suddenly he came back. One way or another, I have to remove every trace of him from my mind, from this world, or I'll never be free of him. Jonathan had no time left for the practice, and so we agreed to dissolve our partnership. I joined Owens and Grover, our former competitors in town. Jonathan kept the office, and he submerged himself in Black Eagle. I called a few times to have lunch or a drink, but he said he couldn't take the time. After a while, I had to let it go. My retainers kept being paid, so I was still his lawyer, even though he never called upon me for any services. Well, that is, until last week. It was the evening. I was enjoying some quiet moments by the fire when I received a call from Mercy Hospital. Jonathan was in the ICU. I rushed to the hospital and inquired at the desk, where I was told that I would be allowed to see him by patient's specific directions. Jonathan had suffered a massive heart attack. As I entered his private room, Jonathan was sitting up, going over documents in a large manila envelope. When he saw me, he beckoned me closer. I could always rely on you. He had monitors attached, and he was pale, but his voice was firm. Jonathan, where are Linda, the boys? No, they can't see me like this. There might be questions. Jonathan, let me call Linda at least. I'll call her when I'm out of here. He reached inside the manila envelope, pulled out a smaller sealed white envelope. For you, just in case. He sealed the larger envelope and handed it to me. All this is old correspondence and trash. I don't want to leave it lying around here. Just destroy it for me, would you? Well, of course. Jonathan, I had to do it. Erase him from my life, from the world. I carefully liquidated Black Eagle. I made sure the employees were not affected. It took months. It netted an obscene amount of money, but you can't burn money. It's not legally. I was afraid it would come down on Linda, so I put everything into the riskiest investments I could find. And it grew. I couldn't kill it, Alfred. His goddamn legacy, it wouldn't die. He had grabbed my sleeve and pulled me nose to nose with me, speaking in an intense whisper. The monitors began to beep. The nurse came in, and I helped her settle him down on the bed. It might be better if you let him rest now. I put the white envelope carefully in my jacket inner pocket, grabbed the manila envelope, and made a hasty retreat. When I got home, I tossed the trash in the fireplace and poured myself a bourbon to try to relax from Jonathan's obsession. The phone rang. It was the hospital. Jonathan had died. And I had to consider what to say to Linda and the two boys, who had no idea he was even ill. I opened the envelope. Alfred, thank you for your friendship. I've always known I could depend on you. I'm afraid my estate contains only what I made by my own efforts. I've named you as executor because I know you'll do your best for Linda and the boys. Jake's estate is all in Bitcoin. The accounts have seed phrases like keys, which, if lost, would cause the money to disappear. Suddenly, I bolted forward in my chair and looked over at the fireplace. The fire burned brightly, and I knew Jonathan was free. I hope you enjoyed the arrangement. It's one of the darker tales, and so we're following it with something a little bit more lighthearted. Have you ever been in a store and you see something you just can't resist? You have to have it. It doesn't matter whether or not you need it. You just have to have it. Our next story will be exactly that. It's called Service for 12. I hope you'll join us then. This is Story Break, and I hope that you'll subscribe so you'll be notified of our next story's availability. And perhaps you'll follow us on Spotify or Apple. In the meantime, stay well, do good, and I'll see you then.